I Am Legend, the War of 1812, and The Jerk are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is December 14th, 2021. It is the 348th day of the year. We got 17 days left. 50th Tuesday in the 51st week and the 84th day of fall. There's 7 days left till winter. And if today's your birthday, you're a Sagittarius. Today is National Roast Chestnut Day. It's time to honor the humble chestnut on Roast the Chestnut Day. They always have the lamest things for these. They're just so corny. As it's the season to be jolly, Roast Chestnuts Day comes at a perfect time for the holiday season. Roast Chestnut Day often fills the air with their earthy scent as they're cooked by street vendors during December. I've never had roasted chestnuts. I know it's something that they do. I don't even know if they really do it that much anymore. I know it's something that's done in colder climate states. I grew up in Southern California. It's not something that happens. If you've ever had roasted chestnuts from a street vendor, let me know what it's like. All right, let's see what else December 14th has given us. 1780. Founding father Alexander Hamilton marries Elizabeth Hamilton at her family's mansion in Albany, New York. 1814, the War of 1812. The Royal Navy seizes control of Lake Borgne, Louisiana. Little off topic, Lake Borgne has this engineering marvel in it. It's the Lake Borgne Surge Reduction Barrier. This thing's insane. It stops the water from coming into New Orleans during hurricanes and things like that. If you ever get a chance, look it up on YouTube. It's really interesting. 1896, the Glasgow Underground Railway is opened by the Glasgow District Subway Company. 1902, the Commercial Pacific Cable Company lays the first public telegraph cable from San Francisco to Honolulu. So they're stretching cable in 1902 across the Pacific Ocean? That seems kind of advanced for 1902. 1940, plutonium is first isolated at Berkeley, California. More specifically, Pu-238. 40 some odd years later, we all worried the Russians were going to drop it on us in a nuclear Armageddon. 1948, Thomas T. Goldsmith Jr. and Estelle Ray Mann are granted a patent for their cathode ray tube amusement device. This is the earliest interactive electronic game. 1979, The Jerk comes out. Now this is kind of weird to have this here for the deep dive. Normally we'll put it in the movies, but this one's a little more interesting. This is what put Steve Martin on the map as a star. If you've never seen the movie The Jerk, it was done by Rob Reiner. The screenplay was written by Steve Martin and Carl Gottlieb, who wrote Jaws. Well, the screenplay for Jaws. Jaws was a book before. He wrote the screenplay for it. The movie The Jerk was based on part of Steve Martin's stand-up act, actually one line from it. He used to come out and his intro was, they'd introduce him. He'd walk out to the mic and say, "I was born a poor black child." And obviously, he's very Caucasian. The movie starred Steve Martin, Bernadette Peters, Jackie Mason, Bill Macy, Carl Gottlieb was in there, Mabel King, Carl Reiner played a part, and Bill Murray had a part in the movie, but they cut it out. The movie follows a character named Navin who grew up believing he was a black child. However, he discovers that he was actually white, so he runs to St. Louis to find himself. Navin then goes through all sorts of adventures to put himself in ridiculous situations, including hooking up with a carnival and getting a carny girlfriend that's covered in tattoos. Great movie. Bernadette Peters plays it, and she's beautiful. I love her. So I mentioned this in last year's episode of December 14th. I talked about The Jerk. I was lucky enough when I worked at Netflix to talk to Carl Reiner one night. He'd called in for something, and I told him, I got to tell you, sir, The Jerk is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It is one of my absolute favorite movies. And he talked to me for like 20, 30 minutes about the movie and how, he was a big director at the time, is what he told me. He goes, I was a big director. I was a big deal at the time. Steve Martin was just a stand-up comedian. And he goes, and I get this movie and we're going to do it together. And then he puts me on hold. He made me wait to film it. He goes, I was the star and he made me wait. He goes, I'm glad he made me wait. It was a good movie. But he was really nice, really pleasant. And this movie was just slapstick, goofy, funny. If you like that type of thing and you've never seen The Jerk, I would suggest watching this movie. One of my favorites. At the time, the movie was considered a hit because it made $73 million domestically. It only cost $4 million to make this movie. It was the 8th highest earning movie of 1979. Now keep in mind, this is just a slapstick comedy. They never get in the top 10, but it was up against Kramer vs. Kramer, which made $106 million. That's a great movie. Amityville Horror, Rocky II, Apocalypse Now was number 4, Star Trek, the original motion picture, was number 5, Alien, the movie 10 with Dudley Moore and Bo Derek, which was a smash hit, and then The Jerk Jerk made just about as much as 10. It beat Moonraker and the Muppet Movie. So this was a big accomplishment for Carl Reiner and Steve Martin. It even made the American Film Institute, or AFI's, their top 100. It's the 89th funniest movie ever made. Keep in mind, there's been thousands and thousands of comedies made over the course of filmmaking. Channel Bravo, they have it as the 20th funniest movie ever made. If you ever get a chance, watch this movie. I'm sure it's on one of the streaming services, but if not, you could rent it on YouTube here for like $3.99. 1994, construction begins on the Three Gorge Dam on the Yangtze River in China. 2020, a total solar eclipse is visible from parts of the South Pacific Ocean, southern South America, and the South Atlantic Ocean. Movies released on December 14th. 2007, we got I Am Legend. This is one of Will Smith's best movies. He plays a U.S. Army virologist, whatever it is. He works on viruses. Anyway, he discovers that he's like the sole survivor of this plague that basically turned people into zombies or these monster type things. As the movie progresses, he finds out he's not the sole survivor. There's some other people, and it's a great movie. It's like a post-apocalyptic sci-fi horror movie. That's another one. If you get a chance, watch that one if you like zombie type scary movies. Not really zombies. These things move really fast. They're not like, really slow moving zombies. Good movie though. Born on December 14th, Vanessa Hudgens. She's an interesting person. She's actually a really good actress who now bills herself as a pop singer. I didn't know she played music. I just remember her from like High School Musical things that my kids used to watch all the time. She was born in Salinas, California in 1988. Wow, I was living there at the time. At Fort Ord. Used to go to Salinas all the time. One thing I find interesting about her, she actually owns the house that was built for Cecil B. DeMille's mistress back in the day. He's like the grandfather of Hollywood cinema, if you don't know who he is. He did Cleopatra, all the big movies back in the early days of Hollywood. Died on December 14th, 2013, we lost the great Peter O'Toole. He is an actor that is best known as the star of the 1962 movie Lawrence of Arabia. He's also in a whole bunch of other movies, so many movies. In 1982, he played in this movie called My Favorite Year. I love this movie. He played one of those like swashbuckling Errol Flynn types from, the 1930s, 50s Hollywood type thing. Like in the 1950s, he's an older gentleman, but he's still got that swashbuckler type thing, but he's a heavy drinker. He's still famous, but his career is pretty much over. So he's kind of trying to relaunch himself or something, and he gets booked on this variety show. The week before, since they know he's a drunk, they give him someone to kind of babysit him, and he's this, junior comedy writer for the variety show, and it's just the movie about this guy trying to keep Peter O'Toole in line till he gets on the variety show. There's one scene where he goes into a bathroom, he walks in, and it's the ladies' room, and this older woman standing there, she's all, "Hey, this is for ladies only," and he unzips his fly, they don't show it, but he goes, "As is this, madame, but occasionally I need to run a little water through it," and he just walks past her. Great line, great movie if you ever get a chance. Another good one. He died on December 14th, 2013 from stomach cancer in London, England. It says his family fulfilled his wishes and had his ashes spread over West Ireland. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, be nice to each other.